difference between brake horsepower and wheel horsepower?
Yun.
Medyo cloudy sa akin yun.
Yep, you and everybody else. Brake horsepower,
Is it equal or?
wheel horsepower, and just plain old horsepower. Yes, they're all equal.
Ganun.
Brake, I like to call this actually brochure.
Oo.
This is what the brochure says when you buy a car. Wheel is obviously at the wheel. The only difference between this, the actual one brake horsepower to that is to that. The main difference why it changed because at the point of measurement. Brake horsepower is measured at the crankshaft here of the engine. And it
Crankshaft. So, hindi pa siya dumadaan ng transmission.
walang transmission. Wheel horsepower is obviously with the transmission and then goes down here to the wheels.
Yes.
Oo.
So,
Why it's called brake is because the way to measure how much power it is, you apply a brake.
parang ganitong weight nito.
Hindi. Let's say there's something that's spinning. I-press mo yung kamay mo doon. Pinipigilan mo at a certain RPM. So how much power that thing makes is obviously equal to how much force you're pushing it. That thing is a brake. It literally is a brake, as in preno talaga. So that's why it's called brake horsepower. So let's say this one is let's take the ever-loving Honda. Yan, 100 brake horsepower. Yan, Jazz. Yan yung makina na isang 1.5 na Jazz. When you add the transmission and all of that, so this thing has weight, it has gears inside, it needs power to turn, it needs power to keep turning. So the effective power that gets to the wheels, well, on ours, because it's a hub, it's about 75. So there's a 25 horsepower loss all the way here. But it's still 1 horse is to 1 horse. The units are all equal. Iba lang yung values because of place of measurement. Difference between our dyno and a roller dyno is this one, the
Roller dyno. Dati alam ko nasa
Auto Plus.
Oo.
Yun.
Roller dyno kayo no?
Yeah. Wheel has weight. Tire has weight. And needs weight to keep moving. On average, one standard wheel and tire is about 5 horses. So let's say if our dyno reads 75 horses, on a roller dyno, we normally would see around 68 to 65 horses. Give or take. Obviously, the bigger the wheel, the more power it saps up, especially now with all of the set-up pickups and SUVs na super-ass big wheel. Oh, yan. This one we've seen as much as a 30 horsepower loss. Just because, because mabigat talaga.
Kahit na pinanipisan na yung mag ng ano.
Hindi nga numinipis eh, di ba? Patabaan ng goma yung mga yon. That has to weigh something. Yun yung problema.
Although super light na yung
mags mo, mabigat yung tire.
Yes, yes.
And most of the weight, ito yung hindi rin kino-consider ng tao eh. When you look at a wheel and tire combination, ganyan, they only see the front facing. What they don't realize is most of the weight is concentrated here on the width. Oo. Yan yung mabigat eh. And yung mags naman, hindi nila naintindihan or nakalimutan nila. May labi pa yan na napakakapal dito. That's probably about 70% of the weight, no more, 80% of the weight of the entire wheel. Ito, yung pinaka-rim niya. Hindi yung mukha. And yung rim na yan, obviously, wala ka magagawa. Ganyan talaga yan. Hindi mo pwede butasan yan, hindi mo pwede nipisan yan. So your only freedom to cut weight is actually on the face. So you have a payat na 5-spoke, which is obviously more magaan than a wheel that looks like this one.
How about my wheel? Gano may mga 15 wheel horsepower?
Alin?
Yan, magiging yan.
My guess is about 8 to 15.
8 to 15.
Yeah. Based on the other 316s that we've done and the Z3s that we've done, this is pretty much what we see. Why the big range? Every car is different. What can I say?
Pero the normal na hindi mo pa nilalagyan ng Unichip mga
baseline stock, no nothing. I think the last 316 we did is 65 stock wheel horse. Then, naglagay ako ng intake and header. I think we went all the way up to 78. This is with intake, exhaust, and Unichip already. So, that's 13 horses more. But this is a 316.
Yung sa Z3 na...
I think mas mataas yung Z3 eh. But still, hindi umabot ng 100.
Ganun?
No, di pa rin. I forgot if it's automatic or a manual. So, pag BM talaga, you really need to get a 6-cylinder. It really has to be that
Pero
one.
kasi, although may mga murang 6-cylinder na ngayon, it's just that yung konsumo kasi...
Does it matter?
Hindi. Kaya nga, actually, ito, sinasabi ko sa iyo, kaya nga I thought of putting up Q-chip. Kasi alam ko, minsan lean siya, minsan rich siya. Kaya lumalakas ang konsumo niya.
Yes, that sudden influx na naging rich siya.
Actually ngayon, like, minsan nga, nasa 1 litro niya, supposedly 1.9, at 8 yan dapat supposedly. Nasa 7 siya eh. 6 or 7.
That's good for that car.
Huh?
Yeah, 6 to 7 kilometers, that's good for that car.
Really?
Yeah.
Pag nilagyan mo ng Q-chip, gano'n, lalabas ba? Mas...
Normally, pag we put Unichip, what we see is anywhere from 8 to 10%. Titipid pa. Titipid pa. Why it becomes more tipid? Because you tend to step on the pedal less to get the same amount of power.
Yes, that's what I
want. Yun, that's what everybody wants. And since you get the power that you want, mas maaga ka kumakambyo. Doon lumalabas yung tipid. Even though sometimes what we do is pag ganyan, we're adding fuel eh. Medyo counterintuitive nga eh. Nagdadagdag ka ng gasolina pero tumitipid. Bakit? Eh, hindi naman commensurate just because let's say you add 10% more fuel, that doesn't mean 10% more konsumo eh. Hindi ganun yun eh.
Pero ang stock na lumabas sa kanya, ano talaga siya, rich? Or...
All cars are like that pretty much. Well,
it doesn't matter if kasi ngayon, nung pinasok ko dun sa gumagawa, nilagyan nila ng gasolina, hindi ko alam kung anong gasolina nilalagay nila. Pero ako,
whatever cheapest gas you can put. You don't need Blaze.
No, I put 97.
You don't need 97.
No, ako.
Yeah nga.
Gamit ko 97.
You don't need it.
Ganun.
Waste of money.
Talaga? Kung nilagyan ko na ng ganun cheap, okay na siya.
Actually, you can use 93, it's fine.
Kasi ang feeling ko kasi mas nakukuha niya yung timing. I mean,
yun, yes, the computer can advance timing more theoretically if you have a higher octave. Yeah. But on these cars, the timing advance that the computer will do on 93 and 97 is pareho lang. Let's say this one on 93, they were able to advance another, say 50 degrees. 97, 50 degrees pa rin, hindi siya magiging 60.
Pag nalagyan mo na siya ng 100 octane.
Ganun pa rin, yan pa rin. Oh, yan pa rin. Yan lang kasi yung nakaprogram sa ECU niya na ito lang yung maximum advance eh. There's a table inside the ECU called maximum advance. Which pretty much looks like an Excel file like this one. So this is RPM, 6,000. And this is, let's say, first tapak. Oh, yun, load, 0 to 100. Let's say 50 degrees, 55 degrees, 57 degrees. Hanggang dyan lang yan. Hanggang dyan lang talaga yan. No matter what fuel you put, if it can advance to 50 degrees, it'll just do that. With Unichip, what we're doing, since we're changing the timer, yun, from this one, we can add, yun, we can, actually malaking range eh, plus minus 30 degrees ang kaya ng Unichip dito eh. Oh. So in remap, it's the same way. So instead of 50 degrees maximum advanced timing, we'll make it 60.
Okay. When do you feel that you need to remap? Pwede mo ba i-remap yan?
This one?
No, yung pag nilagyan mo siya ng Unichip.
Pwede pa rin, but pointless.
Pointless na.
Pointless. I'm happy to take your money for no gain.
Okay.
Bayad ka ng 2 beses na mas mahal, pero you don't get twice the power.
So pag ano yung lumabas dyan, yan yun?
Oh, yun na yun. That's pretty much it. On some cars, we do both Unichip and remap just because the owner doesn't like the idea of, say, when you sell the car, the remap stays with the car. Yun lang yung problema dun eh. You can't bawi it, you can't resell it, and he doesn't like the idea of the next guy getting the power that I spent for. So he opted, which is makes sense.
Oo naman.
So he opted for Unichip to tune the engine, and then we do a very very mild remap on just the throttle control. Ito lang, so para lumiksa yung throttle. That's it. So
Just in case, let's say if I wanna be selling this car, let's say, so I gusto kong tanggalin yung Q-chip ko.
yes,
And I have right now a Kia Sportage na ano.
diesel.
Oo.
Pwede.
Pwede siyang kapit doon.
Yeah, that one will get you about 30 to 35 horsepower more.
Talaga.
2.2?
No. It's diesel
Yeah,
na
2.2 diesel.
Na turbo na siya. Yung bago ngayon.
Okay. Okay, the old one's 2.2 pala. Yeah, the older one. Yeah.
Hindi, actually yung 2.2, hindi Sportage yun sa rin.
Sorry. Okay. Oh, shit, I get confused. Parang S eh. Okay. Sportage. So basically, it's the Tucson equivalent ng Hyundai yun. Okay. Gets. So maybe about 27 to 30 horses. Yun. Pwede yun. Yes. Pwede mo lipat yun.
Kasi right now, yun, medyo napatakbo ko siya ng 210.
Okay, yun. Diesel eh.
Yun na nga eh. Pero mababa ang RPM niya, nasa 4,000 na.
Ganun talaga. Diesel's maximum RPM is only about 4 or 4.5.
Oo, mga 4,500 siya.
The highest that I've seen is a BM na diesel, 5.5. 420D.
420D?
420D.
2.0 na diesel?
Yun, malakas.
Yung mga
200.
X3 nila na mga 2.0, iba rin ang makina.
X3?
X3 na 2.0.
Basta diesel is the same. All of them are the same engine.
Ano so?
The 420D, 120D, lahat yan, isa yung makina yan.
Yung 3 series na 320D gano'n?
Gito yun, yeah, yun din. The 420 is basically just the two-door version of the 3 series lang naman eh. So yeah, same. Then there's also 520D, yan, para makina yan.
Opinion on a 320D na E90 series?
Game.
Ha?
Game.
Game yun?
Game yun.
Okay ka?
Okay yun.
Mga ganun ang magiging mo?
The 320D, the last 420D remap, we got, mga 30 to 35 horses more.
Ang stock ba na yung horsepower?
Mataas. Parang 160 yata to the wheel yun eh.
160 to the wheel?
160 to the wheel eh. Sama. Mausok.
160 to the wheel. So may
Yeah.
30 plus 30 pa siya. So
Yeah.
190 to the wheel.
190 sub 200. Yeah. Yun, we were very surprised na, tangan lakas ng diesel na to. Kasi the boost is pretty high. They're boosting at around 22 to 24 PSI. Malakas. Mataas. But that's what we see now, even let's say the new Fortuners. Ganyan, 20 to 24 PSI yung boost nila. Mga Navara, ganun din. Malalakas lahat. Because they're able to throw in a lot more boost.
These are already stock.
These are stock numbers.
Stock numbers.
Yeah. So we're the age of the powerful diesel.
Yes. Actually, tahimik nga eh.
Quieter, but you know it's still a diesel. It ain't V8 or 6-cylinder smooth. It'll never be that. Even the inline-6 diesels ng Audi, diesel pa rin.
Diesel pa rin.
You know, it's still a diesel. So
Pero you can get the feel of the hang ng torque na bandwidth, you know?
Yep. Because pretty much instantaneous torque at low RPM eh.
Kaya hataw siya kagad.
Yep. Malakas yung sibat, which is what everybody wants. Yung konting tapik lang, sibat na kagad. Ganun yun. So with the bypass plug that we're gonna give you, let's say you want to sell it or whatnot, you just plug it in, throw it back inside the box, then just take the Unichip. Because the plug itself, you have, kasama na rin dun sa 5,000 tanggal and 5,000 reinstall. You have to buy a new plug. Because I can't reuse the old one. And this plug, only Unichips has it. Can't buy it from anybody else. Then another 5 to redyno. So if the math works out this way, on your cars, it's 30K for the Unichip.
Ano gagawin dyan sa...
Wala, baseline lang.
Gusto na hindi nakuha ng boost?
Hindi na.
100.
100? Mas mababa. Dapat mga 110, 115 yung mga yan eh. Modelo na yan eh. Kaya kung na mga ng boost, baka barado yung filter niyan. So 30K on your first car, then your next car is 10K, second car. total is 40K. Pag remap naman, it's 25K for the first car, 25K for the second car, so you're out 50K. Oh, that's the math. Pag nakadalong kotse ka na, masulit na yung Unichip. The most that...
Pero pagka inilagay ko siya dun sa Kia, mag-remap siya.
Yeah, we'll use Unichip na. We'll change the settings inside the Unichip. Because obviously gas to diesel. But it's still the same Unichip that we're going to be using.
Okay. So, hindi pala ako